Hi,
Hi,
I am Shreyoshi.
I'm Maudlin, and today we are so excited to have you join us for this program. Um, I'm a graduate student in the Department of Biochemistry, and I am so excited that you guys can join us for today. So I know that this year we are having this event virtually because of COVID, but we'll try our best. Ryoshi and I will try our best to make sure it's fun, it's engaging, and it's interesting to you guys. Hopefully, we succeed at that. So just a bit about what we're doing and why it's interesting. So we're both in the Department of Biochemistry, and then it's really important to study biochemistry. And why is that? Because biochemistry, which is the study of the chemistry aspect of biology, right? That's the nicest or easiest way I could think of saying it. Now, it's really important because understanding how we as complex organisms work, how our cells function, how tissues function, understanding normal function is important for diseases, right? So if we can understand how it works in normal system, we can potentially troubleshoot in diseases, so be able to diagnose effectively, come up with better and new ways to cure whatever diseases that come up. And we can also find ways to maintain optimal health, right? So in today's session, we're going to be looking at certain biomolecules that are important. So biomolecules are a big theme in biochemistry, but there are two sort of biomolecules I want to highlight, and those are nucleic acids and proteins, okay? So let's take a little journey to a human body. Think about yourself, even me. Every living organism is, I think of us as a ball of cells, right? I'd say a ball of cells because there are all these millions of cells in your body that interact with each other and interact in all of these really interesting ways that make you who you are, right? So in each cell, so we start with a whole human being, and then we narrow into a ball of cells, and then we narrow into just one cell. Now, within that cell, we narrow in, for, zoom in further, and because it's a eukaryotic cell, we know that it has all of these compartments, right? And so we narrow further and go into one of the compartments, which is the nucleus. And so in the nucleus, we'll find a biomolecule called DNA. That is the language of inheritance. It's the basis of inheritance. So it's the reason why you kind of look like your mom and you kind of look like your dad, but not exactly, right? Because you're a mix, a very unique mix of both their genes, right? So for that reason, you look like them in certain ways because you have some genes that are like theirs and some that is a combination with your mom. There is a whole pattern of inheritance, right? So this DNA that you have in this nucleus um, will then be transcribed into something called RNA. So that's another type of biomolecules. It's also a nucleic acid. Remember, DNA, there's an Na at the end, and RNA, there's also an Na at the end. So these are two forms of the same biomolecule, right? Okay, so DNA to RNA is transcription. So that's transcribing. So you're copying from, it's within the same sort of language, you're copying from one form to another. And then comes to the third phase, which is the translation. So now you are decoding the message and saying, this is what the eye color should look like. This is what the hair color should look like. This is the length of the hair. This is this, and these are all of these specific characteristics. So this whole concept is called the central dogma. So feedback of information from DNA to RNA to proteins. So in my section of the today's activities, we'll be working with isolating DNA from common household fruits. So from you could isolate DNA from strawberry, from kiwi. You could also isolate DNA from things like spinach. So I tried that one time and it was so much fun. So you're going to try that today. And then in addition to that, you're going to use some basic knowledge of genetics you've already learned so far. You're going to use that and try to decode some sort of like puzzle. So we'll pretend that you're a geneticist, and then we're going to apply all the knowledge you've learned to decode certain messages. I hope that's fun and I hope you enjoy it. I now hand you back to Shriyoshi, who will talk to you a bit about more things.
Thank you, Madeline. With this, I hope you have had a good idea about what biochemistry is and what all amazing things we can learn when we take up biochemistry as one of our interests. So biochemistry is basically what makes us, as already mentioned by Modeline. It's what we eat, it's what we are composed of, and it's what is going on in our inside us so that we can grow and live in a healthy way. So, as Madeline has already pointed to you, that we are going to be talking about biomolecules, and she will be focusing on DNA, nucleic acids. So, with that, what I will be doing is I will be talking to you and taking you through the world of another set of biomolecules called as proteins. So, with biomolecules, obviously, there are so many things that we are made up of that we eat. They include carbohydrates, fatty acids, so many things, but we will be focusing on proteins for today's session. So for proteins, proteins have a wide variety of functions. They help us to grow, they help maintain structure, they help to transport certain uh, molecules across our cell membranes, the barriers that the cells have, as well as they help in transmitting signals across our body. So what we'll be focusing on is one aspect of protein, where that is to see, how proteins function. And to do that, we will be studying a type of protein called as enzymes. So enzymes are basically, they are protein molecules that help in, aid the millions of chemical reactions that are taking part in our body. So we'll be studying a bit about that. And there are so many types of enzymes. We will be looking at two of them, papain and bromelain. And we'll also be extracting some protein from some household item, particularly looking at milk. So you will, on your own, be able to extract protein. How cool is that? And after that, what we'll be doing is we'll also be looking at what conditions need to be maintained for digestion of the different food items that we consume. So the biomolecules that we're also consuming, what conditions need to be maintained within our intestines, within our the insides of our body, so that the chemical reactions progress in the right way it is supposed to progress. And for that, we'll be doing a very cool experiment where we will be seeing how Gaviscon performs within our body. That's going to be fun, and I hope you'll have a good time learning about nucleic acids, DNA, proteins, learning about biochemistry in general. And we'll see you for the next videos that will contain these experiments in detail. Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.